Hey friends, thanks for coming in the kitchen with me today because I'm going to be sharing a recipe that we probably all had at one time or another, and we love to eat this recipe. And you're going to find me in, say, the next 5 videos. I'm going to be making things that I think adds a lot to Valentine's dinner for your sweetheart. And look, I'm even wearing my Valentine sweater today while I make this. You can't hardly see the Valentine's on it, but it is my Valentine sweater, and I wear this once a year, one time a year, around Valentine's Day. But before we do that, I just want to remind y'all out there to subscribe to the Paula Deen YouTube channel, and that way y'all are gonna be notified about everything. If you don't subscribe, then you're gonna miss all the notices. So just a quick reminder, subscribe, subscribe. Okay, I don't know if I even said the name of the recipe that I'm making today, but it's the Molten Lava Cake. And Teresa and I yesterday was thumbing through some of my books, and she pulled out Paula Deen Celebrates. And you know what? This is one of my favorite books, Teresa. But, you know, I kind of just forget about it. I have my Kitchen Classics book that it stays in my eyesight all the time, so I just go to that. But this is a wonderful book full of wonderful recipes. And Martha Nesbitt, a friend of mine, collaborated with me on this book, and she is one talented girl. So the recipe is in Celebrates. I don't know what I did with the jacket cover, but it's gone. So we're gonna make this today. Hope it turns out. You might want to make it before Valentine's Day to just practice. How about that? So we're going to start by greasing our whatever kind of little container that you're using. I've got these precious little Valentine hearts, you know, that I'm going to make mine in. But you want to make sure, because we're gonna turn these over and empty them out onto a plate. So you're gonna want to make sure that it's greased very good. And I'm using one for baking because it has flour in it. So if you don't have that, you can always rub it with some solid shortening and then sprinkle it with flour, and that'll give you a better chance of rendering a perfect product. So we've got our little ramekin dishes that we're gonna make our lava cake in, and the next step is gonna be to melt our chocolate. Now there's a couple of different ways you can melt your chocolate. You can choose to do it over a double baller, which personally I think that might be the most accurate way to do it. But you know, we've gotten in this electronic world, so I'm sure that 95% of people out there probably do it in the microwave, which is what I'm going to do today. But Teresa has been doing some research on different chocolates, and I know that you have to be very, very careful. You can't get it too hot. But Teresa was actually sharing with me the temperatures that your different chocolates should never go over. And the white chocolate will seize up the easiest. I think it's like no hotter than 85 degrees. Milk chocolate's right there in the middle. I think it's like 88 degrees or 86. And then your dark chocolate can take the most heat of all of them, and that one's 88. 90. If y'all are out there watching and listening, send me different tips and hints that you got, you know, maybe from your mama or your grandmama. I just love hearing what they call old wives' tales at work. Isn't that great? So share y'all's memories with me. All right, so I'm using 6 ounces of let me make this sure I'm saying this right. 6 ounces of, where is it? This is the bittersweet. Bittersweet. And it is bitter. So we're gonna start with that, and then we've got, how many ounces does this say? 2 1-ounce squares of semi-sweet chocolate. And you'll notice we're not using my favorite, which is milk chocolate, but I am doing this according to the way we wrote it. All right, so I'm gonna go into the microwave, and I'm gonna microwave it for 30 seconds. If it's not hot enough or at the right temperature, then I'm gonna add 15 more seconds to it. What, Teresa?
Add the butter.
Yes.
This is not actually one of those recipes, Paula, where you have to really be as heavy on the temperature because of the butter that you're adding.
Yeah,
is
yes.
what I read.
That's
it's
right.
When you're making one of our other recipes.
Yeah, the butter is cutting the strength of the chocolate, so it'll be okay. But if your first time around it's not right, reheat in 15-second increments, because it will seize up on you. This looks really, really good. And as Teresa was saying, the chocolate that we are gonna do in the next recipe is really gonna have to be precise on that. But because we added the butter, and I had this in there, I ran it for 30 seconds, then I ran it for 30 more seconds, and so it took like maybe 1:15 seconds to melt this. So now we're gonna add our eggs. Let me get a fork so I can beat these eggs up. And we're just using yolks. And I'm gonna have to find a pie to make so I can use those 3 egg whites. How's that sound? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? All right, so got those beat up. Now we're gonna add our flour. And I wanna get that beat real well so it won't be lumpy. Look how dark that chocolate is, that bittersweet. That bittersweet is...
It smells so good.
You like dark chocolate, don't you?
I like all chocolate, but I mean...
Me too. I can eat dark chocolate, but I prefer the milk. All right, next I'm gonna add our confectionate sugar. And I decided to go ahead and add these 2 things before I added the eggs, because it was really nice and warm, and it could have cooked our egg yolks, and I didn't want to have scrambled eggs along with my chocolate. Right. So next I'm gonna go ahead and add a little liquid, and that's gonna be in the form of vanilla. I'll add a teaspoon of vanilla, maybe. I got it. You know how they'll crystallize on that cap sometimes. All right, a teaspoon of vanilla. That'll help make that a little easier for me to mix together. And then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of something that smells so good. Oh no, look, my cork broke, Eddie. So, you know how if you store wine or alcohol, if you don't store it on its side, the cork will dry out, and that's what happens. So now the cork is down there, but it's all right. We can pour around that cork. And I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of the orange liqueur. Oh, it smells so good. How would you use orange liqueur, Eddie?
How would I use it?
Is it good fruit soaked in it or something like that?
I mean, I sometimes add a splash to gin and soda.
And does it taste like an orange?
It gives, just a little citrus taste to it.
Okay, so that little bit of liquid helped some. So now in go the eggs. And that's gonna help loosen it up a little bit. Now I just cut on the oven so I can preheat the oven, and it's needs to be reheated to 375 degrees. So these cook a little bit faster than a normal cake. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spray that because I want my measurements precise, since I'm having to divide the batter into 6 different cups. So I want to get them, see how that just slid right out because I sprayed it? Because I want the cakes to be as close to the same size as I can get them. One thing that I really like about this recipe, you can go ahead and make these and freeze them. And then just pull them out and pop them in the microwave just for like 30 seconds, not for much, but to just, and that's after they've thawed. Just take them out of the freezer, let them thaw, and you can have a molten lava cake very often. All right, so I'm gonna kind of shake these around, get that batter spread out in there. All right, so we're gonna put this in the oven. We're gonna bake it for 13 minutes, and hopefully the edges should be kind of crisp, but the inside is gonna be gushy. So don't try to bake them until it's like a regular cake where you can't, where it doesn't shake. Let's say a little prayer to the baking gods. Ouch. All right, now the recipe reminds us that the edges will be crispy, but I think we might need to stick it back for a minute. And then again, I'm afraid to. Because I want the center to be gooey. I don't know if I've ever told y'all the story of my best friend Bubbles, her experience. I may have told y'all. Who knows? After 20 years, I'm bound to repeat a story. But she and Phil were in this nice restaurant in Atlanta. I have no idea what the name was. And it really doesn't matter because I wouldn't say it anyway. But she said it was a very exclusive restaurant, very expensive. And they were kind of known for their molten lava cakes. So Susan needed to use the restroom. So she gets up without asking anybody where it is, and she goes to what she thinks is the restroom. Now this dessert on the menu was like either $19.95 or $21.95, something like that. So Susan mistakenly opened the storage room door, and she said it was up to the ceiling with a well-known lava cake mix that you put in the microwave and oh my gosh. So that may be the way we want to go by the time this is over. All right, my instructions tell you to take a knife and go around the edges. And loosen it. Ouch. So hopefully they'll come out all nice. And you know, on menu items like that, they'll usually say pre-order it, you know, so they make it all hot. Oh my goodness. I said, only you, sissy, could nose around like that.
And not get caught.
And not get caught. So y'all ready? This is always the scary part to me. All right, I got to figure out how I can flip this upside down without burning my hands too bad. This is not going to be easy. Please come out. Please come out right.
I see something on the bottom.
You see something on the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to lift that up. It's slick.
And it's hot.
And it's so hot. Oh, who said we couldn't do it? But I will give y'all this little piece of advice. When I sprayed it, I used too much spray. Y'all come on. And two, I think our ramekins were a little big because it made the heart thinner. So y'all come on.
And they do say 6-ounce ramekins on there.
Yes,
so
and
think those are bigger.
ours were 6-ounce
Oh,
ramekins that we used.
Wow.
But maybe they could have been 6-ounce, but not as deep.
Yeah.
But you know. So bon appetit, Eddie.
It's pretty good.
Michael is gonna go nuts. It's so good. Am I gonna be the only one to eat this? If I am, I'm not gonna worry about double dipping.
There's 5 more over there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So this is one of the 5 recipes that I think that screams Valentine's Day. So I will see y'all on the next video. Love and best dishes, y'all. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.